Yo, UPC.
UPC, baby, let's go.
We're back, United Podcast.
Let's go. Clap it up.
Yeah, man. Yes, man. We've been talking about this for so long, coming back and just getting this rolling again. They said we got my brother Eddie O, we got Manny Fresh, we got Mr. Ray Sander here, got your boy Charlie T here. So listen, we've been waiting for this so long. So look, I think we need to just kind of get into it, man. It's been way too long, and where there's so much out there that we
season 3, right?
About. Yeah, season three, indeed, man.
Yep.
Episode 1, man.
Can you believe that?
Can you believe that? It's crazy.
Season
it's crazy.
3.
It's crazy.
It only took 2 years, right?
I mean, look, we did have a break, understandably so. A lot of things been happening. COVID, Omicron, go back to work, go back home, go back to work. So
right.
That put a whole lot of changing some of the plans, but some people have been growing, some people have been doing some work, some people have been dedicated.
Yeah.
And if I may, Charlie T, want to put the focus on our brother Eddie O.
Okay.
Hard during this
the professor.
He never let
Yes.
Kept going quietly, silently, just making strides. And Eddie O, why don't you just talk about what you did during these hard times that never stopped you from what you're doing, your mission.
Oh, man.
Serious mission, man.
Well, let me just say
one thing. He started growing a beard, but he's still trying. He's still trying to. Don't give up, Eddie.
Yeah, that's not part of the mission, but that's all right. Keep trying.
By season 4, watch. I'll be back.
You got more than me, brother. Anyway, go ahead, sir.
Well, first and foremost, thank you to our viewers. Apologize for taking so long, but a lot of what we talk about, I try to live day by day, man. Just really live it, not just talk it, but really, walk the walk. So just try to give back to the community. I think one of our episodes was about what's our purpose, right? And I truly live up to it. And my purpose is really, to serve others and help people around me. And I'm fortunate to have a job where people are always around me, and I can give a little bit of myself to make them a little bit easier, throughout their lives, and hopefully they learn something. They keep on passing it down, and just keep on building that legacy. So, but everything all good, good work and just moving forward. Yeah.
Hey, look, that's all part of our banner that you see scrolled up, behind us,
right.
Knowledge Without Borders. And he's just been dropping so much knowledge, and man, not just to the other people around him, but to us as well. So
I call him Father Time. Not because he's old, but because he's smart and knowledgeable and wise.
Thank you.
Brother Eddie, you have a conversation with his brother, and he'll definitely give you his insight. And it's a genuine insight. It's always real from everybody here. But Eddie O goes to the next level because he's very passionate about everything he does. Sometimes he gets him in trouble, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of people that really, really care like that. And sometimes people don't understand that. And when you come across someone like this and you understand it, like we understand him, it's a blessing to have him.
Listen, I want to say a special thank you to Eddie because I was able to call his brother because, and kind of learn from him and, pick his brain because, he's in the educational world. So, my daughter was interested in doing some of that stuff. And she actually, applied to some schools and she had to do an essay. And I said, you know what, wait, let me call on brother Eddie because, that's his world. He could give us some more insight. And sure enough, man, I called him up, it was, we spent about a good 2 hours talking.
Yeah.
And it led to good stuff, right? Eddie, she did get upset. She did.
Yes.
We're just gonna do it at a different time right now because, there's certain things that we have to take up, but she wanted to thank you. She will thank you, but thank you very much.
That's fine. Of course, man. That's what we do. I think we all have that attribute. Of wherever we are, we give it our 100% because we know we're dealing with people. When you deal with people, you don't go halfway, right?
Yes, sir.
You go all the way, right? You go all the way, man. So thank you for that.
You know who else?
And now,
sorry, Chuck. But you know who else is also going 100 during this time? Our brother Manny right?
Manny, yes, yes.
Take time to also, kind of recognize his accomplishment, man. That's big what you did over, this time, right? So, Chuck, do you wanna talk about his accomplishment as well? Since I cut you off so rudely, I'm so sorry.
Oh man, it's like I don't even think we probably have all that time and in the show, but just over this time, man, this brother here has just been, he has his hands in quite a bit of things, and one thing always leads to something else positive, and he's in the real estate, and man, this brother here just went ahead, him and his his family just bought a diner, man, a train diner. Food is excellent. I tell you, I never knew it was there until I just happened to go there one day, and man, it's busy. It's the clientele is just so beautiful, and just everything that you're doing and you've done already in the small amount of time that you've had this place. It's awesome, brother. Appreciate
it. Thank you, man.
Yes,
appreciate the love. Certainly, man. Yeah. So I have a lot to say, but I'll keep it short because I know the show is only so long. First of all, thank you. Obviously, I couldn't do it without you guys. Support, whether it's my IT connection, my reinforcement knowledge professor, without my brother Chuck always supported me. Always, without my brothers, I couldn't do it. And sometimes I will reach out to them, and it may not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal to me. And that's the thing, right? The brotherhood that we have. But so got into a little place called Train Diner. It's an iconic place in West Caldwell, New Jersey. It's a great opportunity. And right back, right? One of the reasons I was able to do that was Eddie O shared some tips with me, and I made a little change and put some other funds together, and that came through for us. My wife and I, we're grinding, we're trying to rebuild it, and it's a good atmosphere, good family place. The real estate is always my biggest passion, and it's really doing well right now considering my time. And then my commercial cleaning is always on point. It helps me. And then the biggest news I have, I don't even know if I told all the brothers that I'm here, is that I finally cut the cord. Not the cable cord. I still got Verizon. I cut the job. I'm no longer employed. I'm not working for nobody but myself. I'm my own boss, 100%.
You write your own checks. You write your own checks.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. So it's always a little nerve-wracking, but I think I'll be all right. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the support. But let's not make it about me. Let's swing it right back to Brother Ray, which is on top of me.
Yes.
And I want you to tell people what you've been up to and what you got going on, Ray. Let me hear it, man.
Oh, what I got going on?
Yeah.
Well, after carefully listening to our brother Manny, always preaching what we have to do with, taking advantage of real estate and, looking at other ways of, creating wealth, right? So, I was able to purchase my first 2-family home last year, right? And then now I'm on my 3rd property, right?
Wait. No, you can't rush to that.
3rd property.
No.
I got a 2006 MDX. Come on, man. You said 3 properties?
3 properties. I live in 1, and I got 2, and then I just got a tenant in my unit in West New York, West Orange, because they're both there, right?
Wait, you're doing good when you got to think about where's that located at? Wait a minute, I think it's
man.
But then
love it.
But then it comes back to what we all keep saying, right? Is the support, and because these are times where you're making some big tough decisions, and then you want to make sure that you're going in, and things are going to be a bit challenging and hectic, but to know that you have the support and also the guidance. Look, there were 2 people that were very, very key in my journey into this real estate. It was obviously Manny and our banker, our friend who was a banker, and they walked me through the whole process. I had some sleepless nights, but you know what? At the end of the day, now I can sleep better because I know that I created something, and it's something that I want to continue growing, right? But enough about me. Now let's go to our brother Chuck, right?
Charlie T.
Man,
Chuck made some big moves. That's right.
Quiet but deadly.
It's one of them things, man. Just for me, just trying to grow as we're all doing, and just family business. You know, that's what we are. We are family. We have business, right? So I'm going to endeavor back into our family business, which is SB's Carpet Care, and it's just, it's family cleaning, carpet cleaning, and janitorial. So it's like I'm just to expand my world, my world, and my awareness of just what's out there for everybody. So yeah, man, it's
congratulations. That's right.
Yeah, man, it's just like
applause all around, please. Applause.
Yeah, man, it's like we haven't just been sitting around waiting to jump back on. We all been making moves, doing what's best for us and our families and stuff like that. So yeah, man. And so this is what happens is when you talk about stuff like that, it helps us dive into the topic that we have for tonight, the responsibility of a man. I know some people may, have doubts about, or feedback about what that really means, but us as men, we have a real responsibility, not only to ourselves, but the people around us and everything that we do. So that, that comes to explain, the responsibility of a man. Like I said, it's not only to ourselves and our families, but in everything that we do and how people look at us as providers, right? And just everything else that goes around that. So there's so much content about this, right? So I would love to just hear the perspective of from you, Manny, because I know, but go ahead. It's like, because just like I said, there's so much to talk about on this topic. So let's hear what you got to say about it.
For sure, it's a beautiful topic. I think it could be a very long topic, to be honest, from my point of view. So the way I break it down is three ways, right? You have what you were raised to believe that your responsibility is as a man from your parents, however influence, right? Or your household, I should say, because not everybody has parents, right? From a standpoint of society, what they expect your responsibility to be, and then your own, right? Because it's three different. Am I missing one? I don't know, but that's how I see it, right?
And I think it's a good point that you bring that up, because again, we don't want to sound like this is not one-sided, right? This is
right.
We're talking about our experiences, because obviously we all have, we have kids, we have, we're in relationships, very deep relationships, and all of that stuff has all of these different type of factors, right? Yes. My factors could be different from Charles, could be different, but at the end of the day, we have some common, things and responsibility, and that's what we want to talk about. Yeah. This is not prescriptive. We're not saying you should do this or this. No, we're just talking about how we feel about, based on our responsibilities, our world, what we have to do, and how we fit in that, and how it impacts us.
Yeah, because everybody has a different responsibility in everything that they do. So my responsibility can be different from Manny's and Eddie's and Ray's, right? Yeah. So
Yeah, let me wrap it up. So that's how I feel, a man's responsibility is, right? But when I like zoom into it, not zoom, but like I break it down, is like I feel my parents, after a while, I have to come up with my own ways, right, of what I feel my responsibility is, because if I go only by what they taught me, then I really haven't grown out of that, right? And that can lead me into problems with my significant other, with people. So I do have, like, after a while, I believe you have to kind of wean yourself out of that. As far as societies, I couldn't give two what about that. Society doesn't pay my bills.
Right.
And then the final one is me, right? As a man, what I think my responsibilities are. And that's not too difficult when it comes to really seeing what results you get, right? So the way I see it, I mean, considering the time that we have here, is, take care of your house, take care of your family, make sure that they're fed, they have shelter, and really love your family.
And but go ahead. But I thought you were going to finish, but I also want to make sure that we include take care of yourself as a.
Oh yeah. So that's my last one, right? So there's obviously shelter, food, and love your family, right? I'm being very, very general, but like I said, it could be so broad. And then finally, like you said, right, I am a big believer in that. You have to, whatever you consider your own peace of mind, your own way of taking care of yourself, whatever it is, make sure you do it, because one life, right?
And I think that's the part that is so much underrated and overlooked is, yes, shelter, food, protection, finance, financial, freedom, that, because that takes a lot, right, Eddie? That takes a lot of just one person. Imagine after all of that, right? And the little bit that you have left for yourself, you gotta make sure that you take full advantage. And I'm learning, and my brother Chuck is telling me about this every other chance we get to speak is like, listen, right? This equation, you're the one that's creating this whole balance, right? At least give yourself some time. And I really want to hear from our brother Eddie O on this one, because he's over there studious looking. He's writing some notes. He's ready.
I am. So, first of all, I apologize. I am looking to the side because I'm looking at this at this other screen, because I like to research a little bit, so like that I can stimulate the right. But I will say before I get into this little website, I think the responsibility of a man is the responsibility, depending on the relationship of who you are man to, right? Mm-hmm. So as a brother, as a son, you're still a man, right? So it's based on relationships, and piggybacking off to what Manny's saying. Yeah, of course, the way you were brought up, the way you're right, and then ultimately the way you put it together and deliver your manlyhood or whatever whatever. Right?
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
So let me just read a couple of things a man should be, depending on or assume in relationships. Right? He should be responsible. Always be responsible. He should be. He should work hard. He should be a provider. He should respect her. That's another title. He should love her. And I guess, again, depending on the relationship, this is what the man would be to his wife or to, right? A man should always commit fully. Always be fully committed to whatever whatever he's doing, right? Never halfway, right? He should be very supportive, right? This one here, I know this was for the ladies out there, and I know some ladies are gonna say, yeah, but there's some women that do the same thing men do. But this one right here, right? He should be a good lover, and I believe a good lover is a person who thinks about her before thinking about self, right? To make sure that he's fulfilling the needs and the wants and the everything that a woman desires from the man, right?
The loins
from her man, right? He should add value to life. Bottom line, in relationships, he should add value to life. There's only about two more here, right? He should protect physically and emotionally, right? So basically, protecting everyone that is in his life, right? And both physically and emotionally. And he should be able to make tough decisions.
Yes.
Right?
But you know what?
Be able to make tough decisions. Mm-hmm.
So I want to say something that you brought up, real. Even though you're reading the definition, and this, I guess this is how people would describe the responsibilities of a man. But in essence, right? These are actions that really the dominant person in the life has to take. In a single family home, right? That person is the protector, right? So again, to go back to our point, we're talking because we're men, but at the same time, right? What you describe to a single family who's a single mother, she's all of that, right?
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
That's a great point you bring up.
Vice versa, right? So these are things that are like I think we take for granted, but we just gotta realize, these are the things that, listen, when you're impacting, the kids grow, right? So you mold the kids when they're young, right? You want to make sure that, you give them the right teaching, everything else. You give them that comfort, you give them that the sense of sense of belonging, the love, all of these things will play in a young age and then when they grow, and whoever's responsible for that, right? They gotta make sure they understand that, you have that responsibility, because those may have some impact at a later stage. 100%. I'm learning that now, obviously, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's right. Yeah, so this was a website that had, I guess, 11 roles of a man, or roles that a man should assume and take these positions depending on the relationship, right? So a lot of this is, well, obviously with a woman or with a wife, right? But I do want to touch on something that you just brought up, Ray, and let's talk about a parent who is a single parent, right? Mm-hmm. If you're a woman, like you said, if you're a woman and you're raising a child, let's say a male child, you know, the woman, as we know, women and men think differently about the same topics, but we think differently, right? It's just, it's in our genes to think differently about certain situations, right? A mother could only tell her son what she knows about being a woman or a girl at that time, to help mold the boy, right? And give him a perspective of what it is to be a woman, right? In my situation, let's say, for example, raising a young lady, I can tell her what it is to be a boy and the way boys think, because there's different stages, different wavelengths. We're different thinkers, right? And I'm going to tie it into the responsibility of, in this case, would be father to child, right? Yeah, so I think that's very distinctive, and I'm not saying that one could do a better job or not. That's aside from. I'm just saying, as a man raising a young lady, the most I can do is talk to her about how boys are and how boys think, to help her understand the thinking of a man or a boy. As opposed, if I had a son, I can show him something different, show him how it is to be a gentleman, how to open a door for a young lady, how to protect a young lady, how to speak kindly, how never to raise your voice, definitely how never to touch a woman, unwanted touches, right? It's a whole different conversations. And of course I would tell my daughter, don't allow certain things, right? So yeah, I just wanted to bring that out, because that's also part of what it is to be a man, and to mention, stay consistent, be supportive, go in 100%. Back in the days, your word was your bond. Your word was your bond. Whatever you say you're gonna do, you do it. You don't say something and you lie, and because you start losing credibility as a person who is speaking, right? But anyway, I don't want to keep on ranting. I just wanted to throw in those couple of points. So
I got a question for Charlie. Charlie, I got a question for you, right? So what about this one, where this is the unspoken responsibility, at least from all of us, and I know I can say this because I'm one. We're brothers here, right? So we always gotta keep a cool face. We gotta give everybody that, when stuff are going hard, it's difficult, your challenges, we cannot show a face of defeat or a broken face or beaten down face. We always got to put our chest up and say, yep, everything is good, right? But it takes one to know one to say, you know what, hey, is everything really, really good? And we have that conversation. Right. Because I think that's an area where, even to ourselves, I think we cheat on us, saying we think we're good. Yeah, we got stuff good, but mentally, are we good? And Charlie, I want you to take that point, right?
Well, also too, because when as you come over and we hang out, and I always ask you, how are you doing? And I lately I haven't been getting the correct answer, right? Because if you are not okay with yourself, you can't be okay with anybody else. Because guess what? If you're having like the doubts and all that, but you're trying to be strong for someone else, then it's not real, right? Because you're not being strong for yourself, trying to be strong for somebody else. So when I asked my brother Ray, how are you doing? He's like, I'm doing this. I go, no, how are you doing? And if you can't answer that, then you're not okay. nothing's okay, because guess what?
How are
you being responsible for yourself and trying to be responsible for someone else when you're not okay, right? So I'm a big proponent of that. You know, we all have our problems. We all have our ups and downs, but guess what? I'm okay with myself, because as I make decisions for my family, I have to make sure it's okay for myself, right? Before you just go throwing stuff out there expecting somebody else to do something that you's not so sure that it's okay to be doing, right? Because just be okay with yourself first.
Yeah.
I could say that over and over and over again, and people can go, I'm okay. But then when you sit down and when you have your man time, your me time, and you sitting down there going, I'm not okay. You got to stop making decisions for other people until you're okay with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So what do you suggest? Because everybody has that, right? Everybody has that moment where I think you were just mentioning that, how much truth do you give in a certain situation, right? Like if you are working on certain characteristics in yourself, let's say certain disciplines or something that's not making you totally happy, I mean, that could be a whole different like topic that we can talk about, right? Like self-awareness, working on self, certain characteristics that we want to work on, so like that we can be good all around, right? Does that lead to something though? Like is it something that you create in yourself and you say everything's okay even though something's not okay, and then you start believing that everything's okay, but little by little it is doing harm to you inside, and it has nothing to do with you not telling your friend. It has to do with you, like you say.
Yeah, I think it's a sense
of
pride, Eddie. I think it's a sense of, I'm sorry, dude. I think it's a sense of pride. I think for me, it's definitely a sense of pride, right? So, like, you know what? I can manage this. Yeah, I've done this. I've been in this situation before. I could come out. I came out of it last time. I could come out of it this time. But this time around, right? The toll is a little bit is going to be much heavier, right? You may not have the same energy. You may not have the same stamina, right? Things. The impacts could be different, right? It's not the same playing field as it was before. It keeps changing all the time, and I think what I'm learning is that, obviously I have this analytical mind where I say, okay, I analyze all the situation, binary, yes, no, go this way, that way. But I'm not giving myself a chance to hear other people's opinion, because I'm already, I want to do this already. And then I could be going at it for days. It could take me 5 days to find a solution where I could have a conversation with Manny, or I could have a conversation with you and say, you know what? Hey, I need some help. And that, to me, that's just pride. And I need to, there's a little bit of pride, because, this is my nature. I know I'm going to solve it. But sometimes, stepping back and seeing other people's point of view could help. And I think that's something that we as men, right? Some people are very comfortable with being able to say, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lost. I need some help. Or some people are like, you know what? I got this. I'm good. But then, just like what Chuck said, I'll go in my room and be like, I don't know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. That's the part that I still need to understand better and work better on it. I'm sorry, I cut off somebody because
that's a good point. That's a good point. I feel guilty of that too.
Yeah, but that's
sometimes not. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just life in general, man. Where people aren't really comfortable with opening up to just can't open up to everybody. Even people that you're so close to, you still have to be skeptical of what you say, how you say it, and how you open up to people, because you may get feedback that you weren't looking for, right? That could make the situation even more harmful to yourself, or just something that you can't deal with, that you wasn't ready to hear. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
totally.
you still gotta keep that hesitation, but not too much, but you gotta keep it, because everybody can't process things as you do.
That's a good point. Yo, Chuck, you kicking some knowledge tonight, boy. Woo!
Man, but
Chuck
it's
is on
just like I
fire.
said,
Nah, you're totally right. You're right. Yo.
but it's one of those things because just like I
You're
said, we
right,
all
man.
go through it. We all go through it, but we need to hear this as men because people don't speak to us like that. People don't expect us to open up, right? Because we are men and we supposed to be strong. We supposed to be able to go, I got this, but a lot, sometimes we don't have it, and we don't know how to let people know that we don't have it.
You know what?
Because it's judgment.
Sorry to interrupt, but now that we're talking transparent, and I know we're talking to the world right now, but something that I would say that I do as a man, when I find like things get a little overwhelming, I just get out of the way. I just get out of the way, and I kind of just not ignore anything, but I try not to be anybody's, not a burden, but like like exactly that. You try to deal with things on your own, but I tend not to be in the middle of a lot of situations that I could
That's
be
right.
because it's just you cope with things. You try to cope with things. You try to do certain things on your own, and not put it on other people, right? You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't want to put things on other people either, right? And that's a consideration thing, right? But
So
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, all this that we're saying goes back to what I had stated earlier. It's all tied into how you were raised and what affects how you're thinking and how you think you should handle a situation because of the hood, because of your parents, because of what the expectation. And I just want to take a step back and say I don't have a problem with this topic, but I think it's a pretty broad topic, and sometimes it's a little not unfair. I don't know what's the word, but so right, genetically as men, we're built for the most part bigger than a female, right? So the
their brain is bigger than ours.
Right. Well, hold on. So physically, we are the protectors, and we're gonna back in the caveman time. So we're the protectors of the cave, but the females are more like the nurturing, right? So we don't have that. So together we make a really good union, right? So there's expectations from the cave woman for a man. You protect me, and I'll take care of your little ones, right? Fast forward to today, right? Everybody wants equality, this and that. I think sometimes it's a little unfair because when it's convenient for you to be the man, you be the man, right? But when it's convenient for you to be the female, then it's okay to take a step back, right? I don't know if I'm breaking it down the right way, but basically.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I think you know what it is. I think at least what I've seen growing up is, to your point, I've seen, the man as the provider, right? And, with the provider, sense of security, I've seen all of that stuff. But then, do I want to teach that? Or do I want to necessarily say that that's the right way for my generation? Absolutely not. To your point, the surrounding where we were, that has a big say in how in our interpretation of things. But at the same time, I look, Eddie, I know exactly what you're saying, right? You as a single father, raising a young lady, right? Your protection goes beyond just that. It's the emotional, is her well-being, and everything. It's beyond that, because now that these are the things that she's going to be facing.
Right.
Some of me, I didn't have the opportunity of having those type of conversations, right? So I want to make sure I have that conversation with my kids, right? So yes, to your point, the man cave, woman cave, that's, I guess, that's the roots.
Basic, yeah.
Right. But we have to adjust because of the outside world, the society, things that are changing around us. We have to be able to, and actually, I think we are at disadvantage because the world is changing so fast that if we don't keep up with it, which is what's happening, I think, in the majority part of the world, like there's so many misses that you have to, hey, this is changing. What do I have to do, right? I believe our responsibilities are changing now, and then we have to adapt to that.
Well,
totally.
Here's the thing.
But we should be able to share that responsibility and not have to be able to take it on all by herself now because of the equality, and because, you know, I think a lot of times women, I think a lot of times women don't know how to say it, but they want some of that shared responsibility, but don't know how to ask for it and be able to stand up and own up to.
Here's the thing, Chuck. Here's the thing with that, right? And a lot of people. So here's the thing, right? It goes back to reproduction, and so let me explain. So you as a man, right? People are attracted to someone that's confident, whether you're in sales, whether you're a boyfriend, whether you're a father. Even guys are attracted to the alpha male that when you don't know what's going to happen, you go, no, I got it. Let's go this way, guys. Right? It's an attraction because, oh shit, if I stick with that person, I'm going to survive. By the same token, if you have a female and you're like, you know, I'm not saying you can make yourself vulnerable, but to a certain extent. Because if you're always like, honey, what do you think we should buy this furniture? She's going to be like, so what do I need you for? I can just do it my damn self, right? So you have to, there's a certain line that you have to carry, right? Mm-hmm. To win that woman over, because she's gonna give you her offspring, but she's not gonna give it to someone that's like, I don't know, right. Somebody broke in, I don't know, somebody, I heard a noise, let's go together. No, you're supposed to step up to the plate and show, hey, I got it, right? Not to say that should give you any edge on, you know, giving her position. So that's a little tricky with that, you know, like I agree with you saying, Chuck, but at the same time,
but it should be tricky because it shouldn't have to be tricky, because guess what? I know in today's society, right? They want to be included in that responsibility, but just like I said, they don't. First of all, look, don't take this in the wrong.
Speak your mind, man.
But that's what I'm saying. All women don't want the responsibility. They just don't want anything to do with it, right? They want the man to keep that full responsibility. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you may have to push it upon them to make them rise up, stand up, and be more that they should be able to be, right? Mm. And help with the responsibility and take some of that burden, that being able to know that they can be opened up to, and not make the male feel like he's like wimping out, or he's not a man because he's trying to delegate some of his responsibility. That's one thing
that I admire from you, Chuck. You, and for whatever reason, and let me finish because I know you're gonna jump in. I know you
gotta clean that up, because one thing I admire for you, for whatever reason.
No. For whatever reason, you've always said it, and you know, over drinks, you always say, "I'm good. I'm an independent person." Like for example, me, if I'm not with my lady or I'm by myself, I'm more prone to have my laundry get picked up, delivered, folded. I'll pay for it, right? You're like, no, I'm not spending money. I'm gonna do my own laundry. I'm gonna clean my own house. I'm gonna cook, and I know Chuck is a good cook, you know, from experience. Like you're a well-rounded person, and your upbringing had a lot to do with it, right? For whatever reason, whether your mother just taught you or your parents just, you know, whatever the reason, you had that effect, right? So you're comfortable enough in your skin to be with a woman, without a woman, you're going to be okay doing those tasks that typically are assigned to females. Not that they should be, but typically they are, right? Realistically. Meanwhile, we're cutting trees and doing all the lawn stuff and things like that, right? So, yeah, you're comfortable and you're confident. Go ahead, brother.
I think that's a very, very tricky one to say that in nowadays, only because, again, with time, things do change, right? And I think the responsibilities and some of the things kind of blur, right? I'm like Chuck. I don't, you know, like I want to make sure that, you know, everything is done. If I do it or she does it, it doesn't matter, right? It has to be done. I don't see that as, you know, a task that is just for this gender and this is for that gender, right? And nowadays it's even, you know, taboo to even kind of discuss these things, right? I think this is where the responsibilities kind of change a little bit to understand. And this is not a responsibility. I think this is more of an understanding, right? Hey, listen, now we live together, right? There's certain things things have to be managed, right? Taken care of, okay? Hey, I'll do this while you do this, right? It's more like a collaboration, or, you know, like a partnership, right? that could be a responsibility, right? Let's be responsible enough to say, hey, listen, you do this, I agree, and I do that. And if you can't do it, let's have the conversation about it, right? I think it's a little bit tricky when to have to, I know what you're saying, man. In our core, we are who we are, right? You know, we have these type of instincts that, you know, some of us have control, some that can't control, whatever it is, right? But I think with everything that's happening and the globalization of everything, is personally, I think it's hard to have a hard stance as this is what you're supposed to do and this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
That makes it difficult.
No, for sure. And I'm not saying that that should be the case. I'm just saying that a lot of times it falls that way, right? One big reason, you know, you have to know who you have, right? Your individual person. What was her upbringing like? What was her father like in her life, right? What was he? Was he a punk? Was he a tough guy? Was he ever there? That has a huge impact on what her expectations subconsciously are. She might be like, no, let's go tackle that tree. She never picked up an axe before, but she wants to try, right? But in her mind, she's never done it, you know? I mean, it's all who you have, you know? That's why this topic is a very broad topic. We can talk for a long time about it. I speak my mind when I say I'm comfortable if my wife wants to join me in helping me do a project, and I'm comfortable if she asks me to help her do whatever she's doing. You know, I'm very fortunate. Her father taught her a lot. She's like a handy woman, which is great. But yeah, responsibility of a man is pretty broad. But I do hold my ground when it comes to, you know, certain things. I think that, you know, there's some things a man can do and some things a woman can do, and vice versa. You know, it's just, you know.
Can I jump? So let me jump in a little bit. Let me backtrack a little bit. This is where we are today, but let's think back, right? Let's think back a little bit in time. The reason men were held those responsibilities of being the breadwinner, the protector, is because since the beginning of time, that's the way society had it out for us, right? Even the word woman, the man is in there. History, his story. How many women presidents has the United States ever had? We can go way back, and this is what we were raised and born into. Right. So right now, things are changing, which is a great point, right? Because that is an injustice to say that there's something that a man could do that a woman can't do, and everything is pretty much, if anything, there's something a woman could do that a man can't, and that's give birth, right? So now things are changing, where things are a little bit, you know, becoming more equal, which they should have always been, but there was always an injustice, and this is where we have these, you know, this is the way a man thinks, this is the way a woman not thinks. The responsibilities of a man, the responsibilities of a woman, because of what it was set out to be. When women started working, that's when schools started coming about. Why? Because they were home protecting the children, raising children. But when they started getting out into the fields, who was going to protect? Who was going to take care of the children? So send them to institutions and schools. And that's how things are changing now. We're brand new into this. And 100 years from now, this same podcast would be a whole different conversation, right? But there are still certain things that, like you said, you know, to our point, that we might want to hold on to, kind of, right? Like, for example, the other day I saw I don't know if it was a YouTube or a TikTok, but there was a woman who was in the bus station, who was on the bus, and she was screaming at a whole bunch of men that were sitting down. And she was like, none of you guys are going to give up your seat. None of you guys are going to give up your seat. Really?
Right.
And then the person who posted it up said, wait a minute. You can't select when you are equal and when you are not. Right. Those are things that happened traditionally back in the days, like holding a door, right? Walking with a woman inside of a block, right? Protection. Offering your seat to a woman. Well, if we're equal, then you can stand the same way I can stand. It's not, you know, when is it that you choose to take those little perks, right? But that's the reason why a lot of our thinking is still here today, right? And I'm almost sure there's a lot of women, you know, that are going to watch this podcast and say, yeah, but I could do the same things. We're not saying you can't. But we're just saying there's certain things that a man feels like he owns in a relationship, that a woman, and the same thing women own, right? Where there's a king, there's a queen, right? Right? The same way a king should make a queen feel like a queen, well, a queen should make a king feel like a king, right? And there's certain responsibilities that follow that thinking, right? Mm-hmm. And there's certain respects, right? There's certain not guidelines, but there's certain things that you want to follow, continue to do in order to maintain that respect and that love and that, But
there's one comedian, Eddie. There's one comedian said to your point. He says, I forget who it was. He was like, if women and men were equal, why can't LeBron James play for the WNBA?
Oh, it's Dave Chappelle.
Was that right? You heard that, right? And he makes a good point.
Yeah.
And it's like
in any sport, right? Any sport of that. Right? How about boxing, right? How about boxing?
Yeah, but you know what though? Look, I'm a little bit in. I don't know. I don't know about the respect. Like the fact that if a woman, I would give up a shit for a woman. I will hold the door and everything else because
same here.
Because at the end of the day, yes, this is how I was brought up, but there's still this, like there's something I want to do and I feel good.
They can't stand up as long as you can't physically. That's what it is.
Yeah, but it's not about the physical thing.
So what is it about?
To me, it's about the act, right? Hey, listen, fine. You want to sit down, no problem, move on, right? Now, the way she reacted, I don't agree with that.
Right.
Because now you're demanding, get up, let me sit down, right? Now, if she had just walked there and then somebody would have said, okay, like had a civil conversation, okay, fine, right? But did she really want to sit or did she really want to make a point? I think she just wanted to make a point.
Right.
Make a point.
But let's say.
But on that side, I don't agree. On that point, I don't agree.
But let's say she didn't say nothing. Let's say it was just a bunch of men sitting down and a regular normal lady standing up. By nature, you will stand up and give her the seat.
Yeah. I would.
Why?
Because of my upbringing, right? That's it.
Because they told you that a woman.
Because honestly, because I would say, what? If that was my mom, absolutely, I would get up. If that was Mimi, absolutely, I would get up. If that was Marina, absolutely, I would get up.
Because they're females. Because no, I get it, but I'm just going somewhere. So because they're females, right?
Yeah.
So it's assumed that a female cannot stand as.
That has nothing to do with that.
I'm asking. I'm not saying otherwise. I'm just asking.
It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with the ability.
So why is it then? Why do you do it? Just because you was raised like that?
Because I would respect that. I respect that. Personally, I would respect that.
Right. And I'm asking you why.
The more gentlemanly thing to do.
Chivalry.
Right. But you really don't have to. You're doing it out of the kindness of your heart because that's just something that you think you should do.
I don't particularly.
You don't have to.
Yeah. Again, I don't agree with. I'm a man. She's a woman. She can stand. I don't agree with that. I just don't agree. To me, that's just a childish reaction.
No. So I'm asking because I'm trying to understand. Maybe you can enlighten me, right? And I'm being objective. I would do the same thing you do. I was raised just the same way. But if we're talking about the topic, let's talk about the topic. Why are you giving up your seat? You were raised like that. Let's say you weren't raised like that. Would you still give up your seat? Right? You would look at a woman and say, damn, I'm tired. I had a long ass day. There's a woman in front of me. I'm going to get up and give it to her.
You could take this to a broader way, right? So you could take this, what you just said to me, to other
of course
points, right?
Of course.
Right? Yeah, a lot of things we do because we were raised this way. In a certain way, right? So, but you telling me if you weren't raised that way, would you not do it? I would probably not. I won't do it, right?
So it's more of an influence in your life, right? Than the actual belief that she can stand as long as you, right?
Yeah, I don't.
That's nonsense, right? Yeah, because it's right.
Listen, I tell you, look.
Now let me ask you. Wait, I'm almost sure. What about if she was pregnant?
Oh, that's a no-brainer. Then you get up.
Right. Why? Nobody had to raise you to see that somebody needs, right?
Nah. It's
female.
That's part of that. Well, she's pregnant too. That's
right.
The
No,
physically.
I don't agree with
Physically,
that.
she
I
probably.
don't agree with where Manny's going. I don't agree with Manny.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm asking questions to understand your point of view.
But you know, as I think, I personally think that this is something that is part of our DNA as well, right? There's certain things that we have to do just to show, yes, right? You're still, because at the end of the day, who's the first person that we see in our lives? The first person ever in our lives.
The doctor.
Other than the doctor.
A lot of blood.
Right? Is our mother, right? And I think that subconsciously has something that was going to take us throughout our entire life, right? Right? She's the one that bore us for 9 months. She's the one that's nurtured us. She's the one that taught us the first thing, whatever. So to me, right, naturally, we'll have some kind of, you know, like affection. Hey, right? I'll get up for her. You know, I'll whatever, right?
What about the rapists and the serial killers and that? How do you explain them?
Say that again.
The men that rape and kill and stab and abuse women, who they came out of the same hole. Well, how do you explain that?
Yeah,
but they're sick.
Something happened.
This is different. That's a different thing. You know what? I would give up my seat to an older man. I would even give my seat up to a young man who may have bags in his hands. I'm just looking at a human who may be a little bit more vulnerable, or at least I think, you know, just more protection, or just get out the way. If I see somebody's tired, I say, you know what, just come and sit down. I can stand up, but I'm just helping a fellow human, right? But yeah, I have a weaker heart when it comes to women. It's true. Probably because the way I was raised, whether it's right or wrong. Yeah.
But really, at the core, Eddie, anyone that you think feels that you feel has needs, right? No matter what they are.
I'm just an offering person. It could be another person my age. And I just be like, you want to come and sit down? You got it. It's almost like taking a parking spot. Yeah, you got it. You take it. Go ahead, man. It's not that serious to me. Like, but I don't want to float off. I hear what you're saying. Like, is a particular, like a woman, like would I offer a seat to a woman? Yeah, I probably will. Yeah, I will. And you know what? And even more so, I would offer my seat to anybody, especially if I'm, let's say, for example, on a train and I'm only there 2 stops. I'm like, yo, you come and sit down.
Right.
Whatever. Don't really, you know.
When you get to a certain age and you're not going to be able to like stand up as long as you can stand up now, you would expect that to come around back, right, at some point, because you're not as strong.
Not at
I wouldn't expect it, but I can't control somebody else's.
No.
That's a higher expectation that you're looking for from someone.
I'm not looking for that.
No, maybe the word expecting. No, my whole point is that at our core, we're gonna assist anyone that needs help. But don't tell me because you're a female, you're gonna assume that I'm gonna get up for you. Am I gonna do it now? Yeah, that's where I was raised. But I'm being objective here to make a point, okay? Because like Eddie says before, you can't capitalize on your gender when it's convenient for you, okay? Right. If you're gonna be all around, be all around. So you know what?
Well, okay, so what about this point where, you know, that was fine until somebody said, why should I give up my seat for her? It was fine until somebody said why. So when that person said, why should I give up my seat for her?
Yeah.
Did that person feel like, oh, she's taking something away from me? Do I own this seat? Like what? The fact that person didn't want to give up the seat had a tremendous impact on that person to make that decision. Nah, I don't want to give her a seat. Eddie's point is like, I don't care, sit down, right? But the person that refused to give up the seat and make the point to say, well, she's a woman, she can stand as long as me. I don't know. We have to analyze that person. Like, why would you think that it's just a seat?
Because listen,
I could see that point too. I just wouldn't do that, but I could see that point too.
Right, that's what I'm trying to prove.
I take
anybody really.
I take the train every day. I have very long days at work, and some days, listen, I'm tired. My feet hurt. I'm just not getting up. I mean, if it's an elderly woman or someone that needs
it's them Ronald McDonald shoes you be wearing every day.
Listen, dude, I tell you, I truly, if I feel that I just physically can't do it, and they're okay, I'm not doing it. I don't feel it's really my responsibility to have to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And some days I can't, because I'm tired, my feet hurt, and look, if you probably sitting at your desk all day.
That's right. Let me give you this last spin on it, right? What if you offer a seat to someone and they're like, wow, you think I need it? In today's time, that happens.
Yeah, you would just say, okay, you know what you say? I'm sorry, okay. I didn't mean to offend you.
No, I know what and that's all cool and dandy, but think about what I'm saying for a second, right? Because we're very, but on the flip side, people get offended nowadays in this world.
They do get offended. Yeah, you're right.
Offended. Like,
really?
That's true.
Am I right?
Listen, Manny, the point that you're making is my point as well. Why they getting offended? And why did the person who said, nah, she could sit down, she could stand, if I can stand, she can stand. Like, why did society get to the point where offering a seat can be an offense?
Because like anything else, Ray, everything changes, right? We've known that historically, right? From slavery time, things are changing in our face. Presidents change
for the better or for the worse.
It is changing.
All right.
That's a cool.
I'm gonna switch up the sitting part. Two different other altercations, and I'm
laying down.
All right. If for whatever reason some ignorance happens and you're in a situation and there's a man who punches you in your face, bang, will you punch that man right back?
Yes.
If a woman punches you in your face, would you punch her right back?
You're damn right. If she's wrong and she's attacking me, I'm gonna. And
you're gonna punch her the same way you punch her, like you go on.
If I'm fighting for my life and she's gonna hurt me or my family,
I'm just asking.
You're gonna get to knock the fuck out.
and listen,
drop the pen.
Listen, but that's.
I'm just asking because things are different. Like, do you stop? You be like, okay, stop it.
Listen, man. Everybody wants to be, the gentleman and cordial. No, man. Listen, when somebody attacks you and you have, you're gonna get hurt. Obviously, if it's a.
You're protecting yourself, I guess.
Protecting yourself. I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And people say no, and there's also the time, right? It's not like you're gonna measure it. When you're upset and somebody cocked you in your face, well, let me think about it. That's never.
This topic. Look, this topic can go on forever, like we said. And
my point, right?
Look, a man has a responsibility to himself and his family, and technically, really, no one else, right? So, why? I don't know. Who's the judge, right? Who's to say any different, or who's to say what a real responsibility of a man is?
Right. Well, let me say that the part of the glue that has us together, and I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, is because we in this panel here respect each other to a different level.
Of course.
I respect Ray, Eddie, and Chuck because I know their parenting skills. I know their responsibilities are pretty, pretty
similar and close to yours.
Thank you. Similar to mine, and that's why we're such good brothers here, because we respect how we, our beliefs and how we carry to one another. And I'm learning from everybody here, right? Ray, Eddie, everybody. And I have my opinions, but just because I have my opinions doesn't mean I close everybody else's. I'm always willing to listen. I have an open heart and an open mind.
Of course.
I love to engage in a conversation, and I'm typically the objective one because I like to hear points of views. I always tell people I come into a conversation to learn, not necessarily to prove a point. It's not about me or the point. It's about learning your perspective, and maybe I can walk away with something new. This panel here, I love these brothers, and I respect their parenting, their responsibilities, how they hold it down, and that's why we're strong as a unit. But as a man, responsibility is very, very broad, and in today's time, it's a very thin and controversial topic, I think.
I would like to hear excuse me. I would like to hear what the audience has to say. Put whatever they think the responsibilities of a man is, or are there any differences between the responsibilities of a man and the responsibilities of a woman? Put your comments down below, and we'll address it in the next show, because we're definitely going to come back and and keep this rocking the way we were doing before. So
listen, because there could be some people that don't know responsibility of just themselves, nor a woman or a man. There's people just walking around with just nothing. No
people that. How about the folks that don't want responsibility, that just come home to themselves, right, and just want to be chill. Everybody assumes that you have to have a family and be a father. No, there's people nowadays that want to be alone and just relax and make a living, survive, take care, whatever. Nothing wrong with that.
That's true.
No.
You know, again, society puts this expectation on us. You know, our parents. When are you gonna marry? When are you gonna do it? Why? Who's the rush? What's the rush? Maybe it's not for me. I'm good.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yo. And this is why I'm glad that, you know, we were able to just, you know, get this going, and because there's so much knowledge here, and there's so much floating around in our brains right now.
Please.
And it's not just over these past couple of years, it's been before that, before we even thought about doing this. We've had conversations like this just sitting in the backyard or sitting, you know, watching sports. So we didn't need this panel because we already had the panel. We just figured this out
with the world,
to share, you know, and listen.
We certainly appreciate everybody listening to us.
And I think that's the valuable point, and the value that we can have in this conversation. If anything, to your point, Manny, Charles, and Eddie, you know, we can pick here and there and learn, but at the same time, right, being that objective person and bringing these different type of angles to the conversation, right, will spark others to have a different view.
Sure.
Right. And then, yes, I mean, the conversation that we just had is, it was very lively, right? But because, you know, we were trying to make a point, or at least explain something, a different angle. And I think that's the part to me that I treasure truly. The fact that, you know what, here we could get on the podcast and we can talk and we can have different point of view. And at the same time, Eddie, like you said, we could reach out to our viewers, because I'm probably sure this conversation had been had. Right?
So one thing we're gonna do, we're gonna share one thing that we have planned for season 3, and we don't want to say it beforehand, but we want to know if you care so much about this topic that you'd like to be a guest in our show.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll set it up. We know obviously we have to screen you. We have certain responsibilities and copyrights we got to adhere to.
Yeah.
Definitely reach out, put your email address or contact, you know, and we can open up the whole, you know, panel again, and anywhere in the world, you know, it should be a lot of fun, because we don't just say the last word. We share to share. We share to speak and to get feedback. And if you feel very strongly about anything I say, I know I got a big mouth, or anybody here in this panel, please, you know, put in your information. We make it happen. It should be fun.
That grin that Eddie-O has on his look right now, on his face right now, is like, ooh, I love that, because I could
that would be amazing.
I could see him just the whole interaction with the public.
Of course.
Hey, do you want to translate that in Spanish for the folks that listen to us?
What am I going to translate?
Just let them know that they're welcome to join us in the panel if we ever, you know, have a topic that they want to share or speak on.
All right. Manny está diciendo que si están interesados en ser parte de nuestro show para hablar de este tópico, que está bienvenido, por favor den su correo electrónico o su información para que podamos comunicarnos con ustedes. Claro, tenemos que ser todo profesional, pero sería bien divertido para oír su punto y su punto de vista y hablar sobre el tópico. Y bienvenidos si quieren ser parte del show.
Thank you so much, brother.
Yes,
Professor, I tell you, this guy's multi-freaking talented.
I do want to say this, though. I know tonight's topic was about a role, but if you're in a role, you are a human, and always remember that regardless of what, always be a good person.
Absolutely.
Regardless, always take care of yourself, protect yourself.
Yes.
Never do harm to yourself and never do harm to anyone else. That is not part of anyone's role. That is not part of anyone's existence. Okay, that's extra. That's when you, like when Chuck says, you got to respect yourself in order to respect others. But regardless of the role and regardless of the topics that we're talking about, always remember to be a good person and
Well
Take
said.
care about people.
Can be said better. And on that note, listen, man,
Season 3
we're back.
full effect.
We're back, man. We definitely look forward to hearing from our viewers, man. Because as I said, if we can come out with a topic like this, guess what our next one? Just keep in mind what our next ones are going to be. And we have a few that I think it's going to be more just probably even better than this and a lot more fun and lively and just interactive.
I got one. I got the next topic for next show. Can you ever use the word greatest and leave it at that?
Ooh, greatest.
Wow.
I mean, I know there's the word that says greatest, right? But can you leave it at that?
With respect to what?
Anything.
You know what? I'm gonna hold my opinion because
yeah. That's for the next show. Because we already see, man.
You got me thinking already.
I'll give you a little hint, right? In sports, because this word is being used in sport all the time, right?
The
greatest of all times and everything else, right? Now, there's some undisputed greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali for sure. Now, right? Because he did something that wasn't done before. But you also, so he left a legacy for others to pick up where he left off and take it to the next level plateau, right? I'm gonna leave it there. Jordan, Morant, come on now.
Or she. Serena.
Yes.
Or she.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Children, or anything greatest, right? Anything greatest of that time.
Like,
Ray Sander.
Like, hey,
Ray Sander.
But there's Marcus, right there. Like here's one I think will take some time to break. The fastest running man. That'll take a long time to break, right?
Wow.
And on that note, look, we can get into this all day.
Yeah, sorry.
And then we'll keep going and keep going.
There's another topic, Chuck. Wait, hold on. What happened last night? How come you never called me back?
On that note.
Oh, one night stands? Ooh.
Look at the silence. Oh, Jesus. All right, close it, Chuck. Close it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Just like I said, I want to thank my brothers. We want to thank, man, just like I said, once again, our viewers. Please remember to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down below.
Continue to subscribe.
Yep. And like my brother Manny first said, man, if you guys, we're gonna open it up, and if you guys want to, chime in and get a chance to be a guest on here, please leave your information, emails, and we'll screen. And it's something that we look forward to doing, man, just to be more interactive with our, with our guests. So, man, I just want to say thank you, Manny Fresh.
Thank you guys so much.
Love
you all.
Right.
Love.
Season 3, episode 1.
Yes, sir.
We're back,
UPC,
man.
Knowledge Without Borders.
Season 3, episode
out of here.
1.
Get this COVID. No more mask. Come on.
Yes. Peace.
Peace.
Buddha.